Hey, what the heck is up, you guys?
What's up? It's Edison out. It's editing Allison. Hey guys, what's up? It's Thomas Edison. I'm just kidding. My voice sounds really lame at the beginning and I don't seem hype, and that's kind of how I am the whole video. So sorry about it.
So let's just address the most obvious thing going on here is my hair is pink. I had an existential crisis that I go through about once a week. This is what I decided to do about that, so pink hair. Today I thought I would talk about pots. I'm not talking about the kitchen utensils. I'm talking about the heart condition or a form of dysautonomia. So first, I'm gonna tell you what dysautonomia is. Look it up on my laptop so we have the exact definition. Can you stop? I'm trying to film. Can you stop? So, dysautonomia, according to the internet, refers to a wide range of conditions that affects the autonomic nervous system. So, you might see a neurologist, a cardiologist, or an autonomic specialist to get diagnosed if someone thinks POTS might be your issue. So what POTS is, according to the internet, when you have POTS, most of your blood stays in the lower part of your body when you stand up. This makes your heart beat faster to try to get more blood to your brain. Your heart rate can go up 30 beats or more a minute after you stand. As that happens, your blood pressure is likely to drop. So for me, I passed out a couple times when I was little, but it was also because I was going through some allergy testing and they restricted my diet down a lot and I wasn't able to eat much and I was into sports. So I was playing sports pretty malnourished and I passed out a couple times in the 5th grade. And they thought it was because of that. And then I never really passed out again. I always, as long as I can remember, have, when I sit up, every time I sit up, it happens so often, my vision gets all blurry and I get really lightheaded. And I used to like bring that up to my dad and he was like, oh yeah, that happens to everyone. But I was like, no, I can't see out of my eyes when I stand up. So my freshman year of college, I am enrolled at Michigan State. It was the end of the 2nd semester, and if you have ever been to Michigan State or if you ever looked at the campus, it's very big and you can take buses all around the campus, but my class at the time that I was leaving in the morning was at 10 a.m. It was only about a 20-minute walk, which sounds maybe a lot for some people, because that is literally the size of some campuses. It's a 20-minute walk from one end to the other, but for me, that was my closest class, and it was a really nice day, and I wanted to walk. The building my class was at, there was a Starbucks, but the line was kind of long, but I was like, you know, it doesn't even matter. My lecture hall was 800 kids. You could like sign in online, and you could watch or go through the slides. So I was like, you know what, I'll just stand in line and like sign in on my phone, and then watch or go through the slides on my phone, and then I'll come walk back into class when I got my drink. Starbucks is more important than my education, I guess. So I was standing in line for a while, and all of a sudden I started to get really hot, drenched in sweat. I had this like headband on and it was just like soaked, and the back of my neck was soaked, and I just was looking at it. I wasn't going to get it because I was like, man, I don't even know if I want this anymore. And then I didn't even have a chance to go get it because I just became so weak. Like all of a sudden I could just feel my body shutting down, and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna pass out. And I just put myself on the floor and then I passed out. And when I pass out, I shake and it looks like I'm having a seizure. The people in line that were behind me ended up calling my parents and saying, what is your daughter's seizure history? And they said she doesn't have a seizure history. And at this point I was already going through a lot of health issues, so this was just another thing on top of it that my parents were very concerned about. The ambulance came, they took me to the hospital. They just said you need to see a neurologist because they thought it was a neurological thing, and they wanted to see if, you know, because they were trying to decide if I passed out or if I had a seizure. I saw a neurologist very quickly. She made a diagnosis of NCS, which is neurocardiogenic syncope, which is very similar to POTS. You can have like some of the same symptoms, but one of the tests you can go through to check if you have NCS or POTS, or I never said this, but POTS stands for postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. You do a tilt table test, which is you literally get put on a table like this. This is my table. And then they strap you down and then they flip you up to about 70 degrees, I think. They don't put you straight up, but they kind of put you at an angle. You're hooked up to a blood pressure machine. You have an IV in just in case you need fluid, just in case you pass out during the test, and you have like heart monitors all around you. And it's, my test at least was 40 minutes long. And for some reason, it took me a really long time to pass out, but I did at the 38 mark, and the test was 40 minutes. So just squeaked that in. I did pass out. Obviously my test was positive, and then they decided I had POTS. I'm not sure how they tell the difference between NCS and POTS, I think they might have said I had POTS because I do have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which I have a video, which I'll link down below. POTS is more common to go with EDS. So my symptoms are not every single time, but it could be kind of like a variety of symptoms. Everyone, their own symptoms. Mine can be nausea, weakness, obviously dizziness. Brain fog's like confusion, or you just can't focus on something and you like lose your train of thought really easily. It's just you can't really understand what's going on. POTS can be pretty debilitating. You can go through flare-ups, and sometimes I'm like doing pretty decent, like I don't feel that bad, and then the next day I just feel terrible and my POTS is, I can barely stand without like passing out. So they put me on Inderal, which I believe is a beta blocker. I'm not quite sure, but I know it's for your blood pressure. Blood pressure medications usually like beta blockers. That didn't work. They put me on Zoloft. That gave me like serotonin syndrome. And now I'm on Lexapro. Zoloft and Lexapro, if you don't know, are antidepressants, and I'm not taking it for depression. For some reason, there's a study shown that antidepressants can help people who are passing out more. And they don't really know why it helps, but studies have proven that it helps. According to my neurologist, that's what she told me. So how I treat my POTS or manage it so far is with compression socks. They have little pictures of my dog's face on it. This obviously isn't my dog, but it looks like him. So of course I had to cop these. I do have a Fitbit that I keep on pretty much all the time. I do have it on in the shower. I have passed out in the shower. That was really aggressive. I have passed out in the shower. Sometimes my Fitbit doesn't read quite accurately, or it takes a while to catch up to where it needs to be. I also have this oximeter, which reads my oxygen levels and my heart rate, and it's very accurate if I can get it to read. But I do have Raynaud's syndrome, which I also talked about in my EDS video, which makes my hands really cold and it makes it really hard for the oximeter to read. I also drink, or I try to drink 4 liters of water a day. That's my goal. I never hit. I take sodium tablets. I take at least 1 a day. I should take more. Sometimes I do if I like have a big day. I always have water wherever I go. If I had one tip, always drink water. Have it wherever you go. This is for everyone. You need to stay hydrated, not just for POTS patients, but for everyone. Everyone. Sorry, I got a little aggressive about that, but it's true. It helps. Another thing I always keep with me are salty snacks. Peanuts, Ritz crackers, and that's what I keep in my fanny pack. I have to go somewhere. I have to be in the store for like 20 minutes, and then I get out and I have to go sit down. I have to sit down every 20 minutes if I'm standing. So that can be kind of difficult living because, you know, you need to stand. You need to be able to stand to do certain tasks, but I cannot. So I'm looking into getting like a little portable chair that I can bring with me. In the shower, like I said, I have a shower chair because showering is very difficult for POTS patients because you have your hands over your head. You're shampooing and it's really hot, which can also trigger POTS. When I walk around stores, if it's a bad day but I have to go out, I use one of those electric scooters, and it makes me feel bad because I feel like people are like, oh, she's just a lazy gal, and I'm like, no, I'm not. I have an invisible illness. I literally can't stand without passing out. So unless you want that to happen, I recommend leaving me alone, okay? I also have a handicap license for my EDS. I also have hip dysplasia, which I've never mentioned before, but I have hip dysplasia, and I've heard that can go along with EDS. But I have hip dysplasia, makes it hard for me to walk. My EDS makes it hard for me to walk. My POTS makes it hard for me to walk. So walking is just really not in my favor. I also will get some looks when, you know, you see a 19-year-old girl getting out of a car when she has a handicap license, and you're like, she looks fine, and you're like, but I'm not. On the inside, I'm not fine. I'm so aggressive about this. I need to chill out. Another thing I can do is I have a blood pressure machine. I take my blood pressure on the days that I don't feel great. When I wake up in the morning, just to like check it, or any point in the day if I don't feel good, just to check it. I don't have huge blood pressure issues, but it definitely can drop. One time I went to a doctor and I wasn't feeling well, and I was at the Michigan Medicine, which is the doctors I see to treat my EDS. and they took my blood pressure and it was 50/30, and they couldn't find a pulse pretty much anywhere. And then they gave me lots of food, lots of water, took my blood pressure like a bajillion times, and then finally it eventually came back up and I felt better, and then they chilled out. But my neurologist was like, it's just POTS. POTS, am I right? Like, you right. That's pretty much my POTS story. I am going to Mayo Clinic. I got accepted into their dysautonomia program, and I'm going to Mayo Clinic, and I'll probably do like a week in my life and do it more vlog style, to tell you about the procedures I go through and all the testing and what they find, and if they put me on any new treatment. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. All my socials will be linked down below. That's it. Stay hydrated. Bye.